You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
In his infinite wisdom, the Emperor offers redemption to all of humanity. The Penal Legion offers even the most degenerate criminal scum of the penal worlds the privilege of earning the Emperor's forgiveness through military service and the honor of laying down their lives for the Imperium, turning their greatest shame into a magnificent boon for the Imperium. The Vostroyan First Born show their grit and resilience. With pride in their arms and family at their side, they will sacrifice what they must for mankind. The cost of atonement, though steep, propels them forward as a fighting force beyond reckoning. The Catachan Jungle Warriors are the preeminent ambush infantry of the Imperium, able to navigate and fight in the densest of jungles and urban terrain. There is nowhere the enemies of the Imperium can hide. Emperor, be ready.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Call Laura. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
I'm Jerry.
And this is another episode of the Imperial Infantry.
Yeah, it's our chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
So,
One of our rare chapter 2s. But this is where we take time to appreciate the everyman of the Imperium.
precisely, the boots on the ground, the guys that are going face to face with the cosmic horrors.
That are not augmented in any way. More or less.
More or less.
I mean, there's
exceptions, but like we don't mean Astartes augmented.
no Astartes, no assassins.
Yeah.
No
Sisters
well,
of Silence.
the Sisters of Silence and the Sisters of Battle, ooh, they skirt that line, don't they?
Yeah.
So I guess you could technically count them, yes.
Right.
I guess they're not transhuman, so they would count as just standard infantry.
Right. It's funny where the lines get blurred, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transhuman in 40K is a well undefined term, shall we say. They use it a lot, and then they don't tell you exactly like what the limits of transhuman is.
Right.
Like where the boundaries are.
Yeah. Usually you're informed as you're getting shot in the head that you're too transhuman for what the Imperium's happy with.
Well, so that's more mutant. Transhuman is more like the Astartes
Like
and
the deliberately.
the deliberately enhanced.
Okay. I see.
Now the one book that we read about Rogel, the one
Right.
that the Emperor's Crusader or whatever, but those people were transhuman because they were human at one time, and then those Overlord Xenos things mutated them so that they couldn't do warp travel the same way.
Right.
Are psychers transhuman? Or are they just, is that like a human thing that's like not modified, but just like,
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
what makes someone transhuman?
That is the question, isn't
That
it?
is a good question.
So psychers occur naturally.
Yeah.
I think they're natural,
yeah.
but it's important to separate psychers and navigators.
Oh,
maybe?
I was going to bring them up. They're like a family lineage, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't think they occurred naturally. I think they were a byproduct of the dark age of technology. So it
Okay.
would probably be fair to call navigators transhumans, but they're
Right.
transhuman to the point where it's become genetic.
Now, would a Bulgrin be transhuman, or is that more leaning towards mutation? Or an Ogren?
An Ogren?
Yeah, yeah.
They're mutant.
They're mutant.
I
Okay.
believe that they're a byproduct from the home planet they're from. So I
Okay.
think that's a mutation.
Right.
What's an ogren?
So Ogrens Ogrins are Lenny on steroids from Of Mice and Men. They're like ogres.
Yeah.
But they would ride a bus of questionable proportions.
They're big and muscular and not too bright.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah. And they are from like a specific planet or system. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that has like some gravitational fuckery.
But they're useful as troops because they're so big and strong, and I think they're pretty
tough.
Aggressive and tough.
They're very tough. Yeah, they can take all kinds of.
That's helpful to have on the battlefield, definitely.
Yeah,
So
but like
their level of mutation is cool,
acceptable.
Yeah,
tolerated.
Yeah.
But like a group of Ogren, what would you call a group of Ogren?
A squad, I guess. I don't know. I tried to think of something fun, but
I think you'd call them an
muscle,
an oogle,
an oogle, an ogle,
an ogle of Ogrins,
an ogle of Ogrins.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like a group of them will get scared and run or / attack if they get too close to like automated technology.
Oh.
Because it just freaks them out, especially things with wheels or things that like teleport or transport things around. So like if they have a group of Ogrins that they have to get like a transport truck, they have to have like special handlers to corral them in there, or they have to drug them.
Oh my gosh, like cows.
Yeah.
Because they would just freak out.
Yeah, because they'll just lose their shit. I think I even read somewhere they like blindfold them and put them on the trucks.
Those poor guys.
So they don't know what's happening.
Like the horse blinders. So they don't get scared of the traffic.
So they're big, tough, dumb.
Yeah. There you go. You got a bonus faction. We weren't even planning on talking about them, but yeah.
And
they're part of the Imperial Guard.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely are. And
Yeah.
we'll do an actual
right.
dive
Yeah,
on
we
them.
will.
So
I
it's
did
just the
no
fact that
research on them.
None.
Yeah.
Cool.
No. I know that if I ever have a model army, I want it to include Ogren. Yeah. Full. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fully.
Eric would
fully
love to
intent
do
on
an Imperial army.
Yeah. Especially
army.
like eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just all the different factions.
As many as I can fit and still have a cohesive story to it, like
which if you have an Inquisitor leading your group could be anything.
There we go. I'm just pulling the resources I've got, guys. That's all. Anyway.
Well, we are here to speak on 3 different factions.
Yes.
Eric's going to start us off.
Okay.
Eric, what'd you pick?
So I picked the Penal Legion.
How erect of you.
I know. Otherwise known as the Legions Penitente, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the High Gothic version.
Right. High Gothic.
Also known as Latin.
I know. I love it. So bit of a confession here. These guys aren't necessarily part of the Imperial Guard. At least they're not part of the general rank and file of command and stuff.
No, that would imply that they have some sort of recognition.
Yes. So, what is a Penal Legion?
Giggity.
The Penal Legion.
Anything to throw them off.
It's working. Damn you. They are made up of criminals who have committed capital punishments. Capital crimes, and have in some way or another have earned themselves capital punishment.
So which not lowercase punishment.
Right. Capital.
Although that shit can be
exactly. So
it can be
they're
anything.
not, yeah.
Because it varies from world to world even.
Yeah.
It is up to their discretion per planet or per system what constitutes a capital crime, and the Imperium at large does not give a fuck.
No, it's too busy to be able to handle and sort through all that crap.
Yeah. So that's what you have. You have a bunch of criminals that are used throughout the Imperial Guard, usually to fill in. Now, there's a few cases where it's a specific bunch, kind of like Suicide Squad style, but we'll get there. But as a general rule, they're just kind of dispersed as needed. They don't really form them into, would you say, legions or their own?
Yeah, their own regiments.
Regiment thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. So, how do you become a member of the Penal Legion? As we said, you've found yourself in prison and probably facing execution and or life. It depends. You're probably on a penal world, which is a whole world dedicated to prison. And some of it's more organized than others. Some of it's more or less a death world or a feral world that they just drop you on.
Like Australia.
Yeah, right. It'd be like, yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
that's a good way of putting it. And then sometimes...
I mean, that is what the British did.
Yeah, right.
Like you now go to the death world.
Yep, you're going there. Bye. Yep. Have fun with all the poison. And sometimes they're more organized, especially if they're associated, the penal world is associated with a specific system. And so that world would have a governor who's basically a warden. And the guards are often, I mean, just as bad as the criminals. Like you can imagine.
You'd almost have to be.
Yeah, you would. To survive here, you just have to be vicious. And more or less, I mean, for the most part, there's gangs forming and stuff. Like it's a pretty terrible place. I did a little bit of research into penal worlds just to kind of understand
Where they're coming from.
Right. And it's bad.
It's
bad.
It's what you would think.
Right. It is. Yeah. In the grim dark, it is. It reminds me of underhive conditions.
Just
a lot
everywhere.
of the time. Yeah. So that's what you're looking at. And so you're given a choice to stay there on this penal world or face your execution if it's that organized. Or you can join the Penal Legion and earn the Emperor's forgiveness.
That just means death, though.
The Emperor's pardon is granted through death.
Yes.
Yes.
You get it when you die.
Yeah. And for one reason or another, whether it's because fuck it, dying is better than living another day in this shit, or you know what, I genuinely feel remorse and want to earn the Emperor's forgiveness, and I know I am ready to give my life for it. Like, so I guess there's some believers. Either way,
That's
signed
gotta
up.
be few and far between.
Well, it seems to be. It's so woven in there. I'm not sure if it's propaganda or not, to be honest with you, but it's very woven in there. The Emperor's pardon, the Emperor's forgiveness. So it may become kind of a cult-like mentality to them over time. Or it could be complete farce and it's propaganda and they're just forced into
how
the
could
whole
you
thing.
deny the Emperor's light?
I mean, honestly, how could you?
Well,
Right.
if they hadn't have done that, they wouldn't be there in the first place. So
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you make mistakes.
Yeah.
and you get punished.
Yeah.
But the the ecclesiarchy does seem to have a presence in the Penal Legion to help guide these souls in their journey towards forgiveness.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's there. There's like preachers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and
are
I'm sure
there.
I'm sure that they're just like I'm sure they're the most
Yeah.
moralistic, upstanding members of the ecclesiarchy.
Now,
Those fuckers.
yeah, and so they're there to guide the souls. You know, these wonderful, upstanding. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how the people that profess to believe the most always find ways to make other people die for them instead? Isn't that interesting? What a phenomenon how that
It's a
happens.
universal constant.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mm.
Now, there is another way to get into the Penal Legion, and that is by committing a crime as an Imperial Guardsman. If you desert or,
Abandoned position.
yeah, abandon your post, or you're a traitor of some kind, or perhaps you're, show cowardice in the face of battle, or
Which is surprising you weren't
Yeah.
shot by your commissar.
right.
Although I imagine there's some rank and file where it's as simple as like not upkeeping your equipment.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They're
yeah.
that strict.
It probably does depend on how strict they are and stuff like that. Stealing is another one that could get you there, I suppose.
yeah.
So one way or
Blasphemy,
another,
probably.
yeah, one way or another, you have disgraced your position as a soldier of the Imperial Guard, and you're, if not executed, given over to the Penal Legion, which the Imperium does have a whole, like, they kind of rely on this as a source of bodies to throw at the battlefield, right? So it's a
Oh,
nice,
for sure.
nice, cheap way to
The Imperium
bolster their forces.
The Imperium only fights war one way, and that's through attrition.
Right. And so the Penal Legion is a good source of bodies for that attrition. When they're deployed, they are under the command of squads that are typically led by arbitrators. So the police force, the RBDs. I wrote down specifically arbitrators. So I wonder if that's something separate from an RBDs or just another word for it. But either way, it seems to be a police force.
Yeah,
It
it probably is the RBs.
Yeah. So, they tend to, they've got one per squad kind of leading these guys in. And they're good for sending into the front line, to absorb a lot of the enemy fire, to clear minefields.
Get the enemy to reload.
Yep. Sometimes they're commanded to just simply walk forward and not lay down so that the more valuable soldiers can move up.
It's also a good way of testing unknown defenses.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah. Just anything you would do with an expendable unit.
Beyond expendable.
Yeah. Like, that's what they're there for. Penal Legion is not expected to live past their first mission, typically. And the ones that do are usually more of the, like, vicious born killers. The ones that are just...
Yeah, the ones that are made for it.
Right. And...
Because you're not given any benefits.
No, you're not.
No armor, barely any weaponry.
Yeah, you might be equipped with a las gun, sharp stick, whatever random shit you can find.
They pull the old Russian method. Hey, you get a las stick and you get a battery pack.
Yeah.
You guys follow each other, and when he dies, you pick up his rifle and reload.
Cold War rules.
Pretty much, yeah. And so whatever they can steal. So there's a I think it's a regiment called the Chem Dogs, and they are one of the more specialized Penal Legion groups that are sent out there, and they come from a pretty tough, toxic world. And they're pretty tough. And they basically have this agreement. They joined up. You can keep whatever you steal on the battlefield. And that was enough for these guys.
Yeah.
That and getting off the world. They're just like, all right, we'll do it. There's another one called the Last Chancers.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. They seem to be very like Suicide Squad or something like that, where they actually, if they complete a certain number of missions, they get their pardon and get to live.
You must be a skilled prisoner where they're like, we really don't want to execute you.
Exactly. They're like handpicked by their, I've probably got the guy's name around here. I think it's Colonel Schaefer. Yeah, this colonel picks them out and he selects specialized stuff, and they go on very specialized missions.
They've got a little bit of hope.
They do.
At the end of their tunnel.
Yeah, they are given hope. Yeah, more so than what is typically expected of the Penal Legion. Yeah, because most of them just die. If they do survive their first mission, a lot of the times they become cyborg berserkers. They're like, okay, you're super aggressive, but you're also really fucking dangerous. So we're going to augment you to make you more effective in battle, but less dangerous to your
become like the
fellows.
arco-flagellants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll have to cover those.
That way.
We'll have to cover those. The arco-flagellants, the penitent engines. That's all bad shit right there.
Yeah.
Some real bad shit.
A few of some of the other guys that survive. See, like, surviving almost doesn't seem better, because then another option, if you survive and are that like really crazy type that like, it's like, we really can't work with you in the mentality that you have, but you are useful on the field as a killer. They'll, they become human bombs. They strap bombs to them, which all Penal Legion does actually have a bomb strapped to them to begin with. It's an exploding collar, but the explosion is directed inwards. It's not used to
kill enemies.
Yeah, so that's a deterrent for escaping, since you have such wild conditions that these guys are exposed to. But the human bombs, they are kind of ritualistically, these are people that have decided that they don't deserve to keep continuing. They're going to give their lives in this explosion for the Emperor's forgiveness.
I'm just too good to die.
Yeah, no, they've done so. They're so burdened by guilt that this is the only way they can unburden themselves, and they're guided to this by, as I said, preachers. Let's see if I've got it here.
No fuckery there.
Yeah, confessors, and other members of the Imperial cult. You know, they help guide their spirit to this realization that this is the only way to purify their souls in the eyes of the Emperor and be forgiven. And so they make it a very ritualistic thing. People are praying over it, and then their soul is forgiven the moment the fuse is lit. So, and off they go, running headlong into the enemy.
It's like, loophole, bitch! I'm forgiven. Fuck you!
I
fuck
know.
you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
That was my thought too. It's like, oh no, it lit. It just because it went out doesn't mean
No. This fucker
I'm
lit.
forgiven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to go now.
You can kiss my forgiving ass. I'm
Yeah.
out of here.
I'm sure it works
like
out
Jon
like
Snow
that.
when he came back from the life. He's like, my watch ended because he died.
Yeah,
on the wall.
so his oath is like, nope, it's over. Yeah, and I was kind of with him on that. It's like it specifically said until you died.
Real technically.
So, yeah, read the fine print. It's there. So let's see. What other fun uses are there for these guys? Cannon fodder, yeah, of course. Used to bolster the ranks, minefield clearing, tunnel warfare. So they'll send them into the tunnels as they're digging through them, because once you break, in tunnel warfare, you're kind of digging counter tunnels and stuff. They're tunneling over to you, you're tunneling to them, and your tunnels might meet, and then you've got this cramped little space and enemies 1 foot in front of you, and it sounds terrible.
Man, yeah, I always thought about that during World War One.
Oh, yeah.
You lose a lot of communication when you go underground, too.
Oh, God, you're right. You do. And all that. Yeah. Sounds terrible.
But yeah, can you imagine
Brutal.
digging a tunnel and you just swing and then the wall comes down and there's like 4 of the enemy right there?
Oh,
Holy
that'd be
shit.
awful. And you've got a bunch of guys behind you. You can't just back up even. And you're probably crawling.
First thing you do is just face down, drop.
Oh,
Because
God.
somebody's going to start shooting.
You're right. You're right.
Just drop.
Okay.
Let him
That's
shoot
good
in front of
advice.
you. Let him
Yeah.
Throw the shovel.
Shoot over you.
put the shovel over your head.
Use it as a helmet.
Yes, that appears to be just about it. So,
All right.
yeah.
These guys sound cool.
Yeah, forgiveness through death. And then just on the rarest of occasion, you can be forgiven in order to join the regular ranks of the Imperial Guard.
Now,
So,
they did come out, I think, with a 40K game. I think it was called Dark Tide, where you play as it's a 4-person game where you can play as one of the members of a Penal Legion. One of them is an Ogren.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and you're there to clean out an undercity. It's like your job.
Wow, that's a cool game. That's a cool premise. I like that.
So,
I think I've seen some trailers from that.
probably.
It looked
Like
good.
I think one of them opens up with them playing cards,
Yeah.
and the commissar comes over. Is like, "You guys are fucked," and he's like, "Thanks."
Thanks.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you got?
Oh, I got the Vostroyan First Born.
Vostroyans.
Ooh.
Yes, these guys are very much modeled after like Russians, kind of,
Right.
but like
The Cossack.
early 18th, 19th century.
The ones that had the
Russians.
really pretty architecture.
Yes.
Not the square
Yeah.
hammer and wheat clearing tools ones.
Yes. This was like Tsarist Russia.
Yeah.
Right.
The height of Russia. We don't have any Russians to listen to us. What are you talking about?
I mean, there's a couple, I think. And I haven't checked in a while.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
probably not.
If you're out there, hi.
Yo-ho.
Yo. They're an Imperial Guard regiment from the hive world of Vostroya.
Nice.
It's like a cold, kind of bleak planet where it's a weapon making planet. They make weapons for like the
Okay.
Adeptus Mechanicus and also for like Earth Terra and
Okay.
for the Emperor's armies and stuff.
Nice.
It's kind of bleak and cold and like ash and snow falls, and so these people are like, it's a lot like Russia in this way. But during the Horus Heresy, they were requested to give troops to come help with the Horus Heresy,
Uh-huh.
but they were ruled by this tetrarchy, and they were like, no, we'll it's probably better if we just continue to make our weapons and fill our quotas.
So they were fence riding.
Yes.
They wanted to see who won.
Yeah, they just decided, not to do that,
Yeah.
which is kind of a scary thing to do, to deny because the emperor requested, troops.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the heresy, Gilliman was like going through the books and stuff, and they were like checking out everything that happened.
Mm.
And then this came across this, record,
across
like,
this
why
desk.
didn't they send troops?
Yeah.
Like these guys. So then they kind of met them with like an uncommon courtesy by being like, all right, let's reach an agreement where you guys can like be forgiven for this. Because what they did was they still were providing weapons, but they didn't provide people.
Right. And
Estimated by,
Gilliman is one of the Primarchs that's going to try to sort it out rather than slug it out.
Yeah. So they kind of got lucky there.
They got real fucking lucky.
Because that could have went real bad.
Yeah, if that was like Lehman or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The word treason could have come up real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because of this, they did feel really great shame.
Just like the fucking Krieg.
Oh, yeah. They are driven by shame and repent. Yeah. Trying to repent.
Yeah. So to make up for this, they make this promise that they're going to give every single one of their firstborn children to the regiment.
Ooh. Yeah.
So
Oh, the
boy or
firstborn.
girl, noble,
Little reverse.
no one is
little
immune.
reverse Moses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Every single firstborn.
Yes. And that ends up making it like a very family affair, this regiment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, so
Oh.
if you go into it, you know that you'll be fighting with your relatives.
Oh,
most
okay.
likely.
I see. Yeah. Hey, cousin Jimmy.
Fuck, I hated your mother.
Yeah.
And also the people back home, they know that everything, that it's their relatives that are out at war. Like no one is not connected to this.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's a good point. They are all directly tied to the war by blood.
Yeah. And so this means they put a lot of pride and like work into their craftsmanship and their weapons. So most of them have unique ornamentation on their guns.
Oh, highly customized.
Yeah, they look like their last guns have like filigree and like ornamentation, and they're very ornate, and they're also like passed down through families and stuff.
Ah.
That's pretty rare in the Imperium.
Yes. They have like a carapace armor, which is kind of rare for regiments.
I was gonna say that's pretty good armor.
Yeah.
For a regiment, for a standard.
Yeah.
It's usually like a breastplate.
Okay. That makes sense. Again, that kind of medieval Russian.
Yep.
Or
They have that cool, like tall, fuzzy hat.
Yeah, and the giant
Okay.
red jackets.
Yeah, and the big red jackets, and the black boots.
That's great. Oh my gosh.
One of their units that like they do like the Rough Rider thing.
Okay.
You guys heard about that? So this is like a cavalry regiment in 40K. Like they ride
right.
horses.
There are horses. The Krieg,
The Krieg do, but the Rough Riders are a thing unto themselves, aren't
right?
they?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
the Krieg have like their own side regiment that does it.
Yeah, and their horses are like freakishly
Yeah, they're
genetically
mutant
mutated.
horses.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the Vostroyan ones are called hussars.
Yep, that makes sense.
They have like these grenade mounted spears.
Yep, the Hussars were Polish in real life,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they were known for having very long lances that they rode with.
Yeah. These things like when you hit the enemy, the explosion goes towards the enemy, not back towards you, but it's like
A directed explosion.
and then once that's gone, you have like swords
Right,
and guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys carry swords, by the way.
the power swords.
Yeah, they have like, the ornate swords and stuff, but they're like sabers, and like they have different, like from short swords to like sort of long sabers or dual wielding swords.
Yeah, but they're power swords, which are that is again speaks to their like quality of stuff because power swords are pretty rare.
It is just mind blowing that like in a world like this, you get like dudes are riding into battle on horses with swords.
And lances.
I fucking love it. I love this about 40K.
Yeah, it's just whatever aspect of history or war that you're interested in, you can find it.
It's there.
It's
Yeah.
there. You just got to find it. Got to know where to look.
Yeah, it's pretty. We'll have some images, but like a lot of time on their las gun, they'll have like a bayonet or like an axe mounted to it.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so they're ready for
For melee.
whatever happens, and their weapons are good. Like they're
Oh,
good
yeah.
with them, and they're good at like they have. I think in the actual 40K game, they have like a extra range,
Oh, they represent the quality. That makes sense.
and yeah, they have deep ties with the Adeptus Mechanicus. So
Oh, that makes sense if they're going to get all this special equipment.
yeah,
Okay. Probably they maintain a good relationship with each other.
mm-hmm.
Mechanics is like, we like your work.
Yes. They're usually line infantry, but they also have like some armored divisions where they have tanks. They're highly skilled with tanks too.
Okay. Are tanks kind of what's something else that's produced, I guess, on their homeworld?
I would guess
Like
probably.
tanks and what?
Probably rifles and
Yeah.
things like that.
Okay.
What they special, it would probably be a lot less custom versions of what they carry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be my guess.
Yeah, their gear is it's interesting because it's so ornate. Like they take such pride in it. Like
Which is virtually the direct opposite of what you see in practically every other regiment in 40K.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they like sort of have that relationship with their weaponry, and it's like generational.
Yeah. Oh man, like this rifle went with my father and his father and his father before him, or my mother. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you're the firstborn, you're going in. Yeah, so it could be my grandma welded this, then so did my dad, and yeah, now it's me.
They're very protective of each other because the family ties within the regiment. Like they want to watch out for the people in their place.
And in a lot of ways, just the direct opposite of the Penal Legion, I imagine, in how they go about it. They're probably much more careful and defensive and protective of each other, as you said, where the Penal Legion is just a swarm, a milling swarm at best. You know, no one cares about them. They don't care about each other. The Imperium doesn't care about them. You know,
these guys are pretty old in the 40K universe. They, I believe they're like minis for the game, or like steel. They're like metal.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that is old, isn't it? Like I would imagine.
I think they were like that in the 90s.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to think of the 90s.
I don't either. When I heard that, I was like,
I mean,
ow.
Yeah, you might not want to, but
yeah,
it is.
It's over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Ouch. You didn't have to say that.
I didn't mean it.
I mean, he did mean it.
Yeah. In
It's
actuality, it's true.
It's just the math.
Yeah. So these guys have their plastoid alloy carapace armor.
Okay. Yeah.
Their las guns, which are finely wrought. It's an M36 Cantriel pattern las gun, fixed with axe blades and bayonets. Their standard bearers have like ancient tribal sabers and daggers, and they have ritual scars on their torso.
Oh,
I didn't find more about that, but it sounded interesting.
That is interesting. Huh.
Let's see what else. They carry swords. They usually have poor weather gear because they're good at fighting in the cold because of where they're from.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it really does.
And I didn't mean to, but I have picked a second icy world regiment. Like last time I picked the Valhallans.
That's right. You did. Yeah. Once again. Yeah. No, that's funny because they were kind of either Russian
inspired as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like these ones were like Tsarist Russia, and then those ones were kind of like Cold War Russia.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Represent the different eras. Yeah.
They carry the Treatise Elatii, which is a sacred text written by Saint Nadalia, the Grey Lady, which is the patron saint of Vostroya.
So they carry the Russian Bible.
The Vostroyan Bible.
Yep.
Treatise Elatii.
The Russian Bible.
And, the Imperial Primer that everybody gets.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone
does get the Imperial Primer. Yeah.
It's completely full of crap.
Yeah. Now, I would like to know more about the Saint Nadalia, but I wasn't able to find anything.
Really? Oh, that's a shame because I wanted to know more.
Yeah, it seems like these guys don't have a ton of lore.
Interesting.
Right.
Follow.
Especially since there's one of the older factions to be introduced in the meta of the game, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
But that is the Vostroyan First Born.
That is the Vostroyan Firstborn.
Firstborn.
All right. And I'm going to close us out with the Catachan Jungle Warriors. Since we did Sly Marbo back in July, I thought it only fitting to cover his regiment, the Catachan Jungle Warriors. So they are obviously from the death world of Catachan.
So.
Very simply put. Catachan is as I said, is a death world, which means it is a fucking terrible place to live. Basically, the story goes that during the dark age of technology, they were scanning planets looking for a place to land. They came across Catachan, which scans as a jungle planet.
Okay.
Dense, lush vegetation, lots of life. Yeah. So they went to land. Why they crashed, whether it was a system malfunction or whether it was because, as they found out, literally 90% of the flora is carnivorous. And caused them to crash. Don't know. But they landed and then found that literally everything on this planet wants a piece of your ass. And I'll go through a list of some of the animals towards the end there. And some of the plants, because again, like 90% of the plant life are
dangerous
also...
as fuck.
Yeah. So like the statistic you always hear with the catachans is that 50% of them do not make it to the age of 10.
Oh.
And then of the ones that do, or no, 50% of them do not survive past infancy. and then of the ones that do, another 50% of them are halved again before they make it to 10.
Yikes.
Jeez, oh man.
And that is current statistics in the Imperium. The Imperium has not been able to really do anything to improve this. Catachans are nomadic because the flora and fauna just doesn't allow for permanent settlements.
Right. That makes sense.
As such, they also don't have a PDF or a planetary defense force. There
Who
is
needs it?
Yeah, that's actually the case. There is no need for one. Catachan has repelled invasions from literally everyone.
Ooh, orcs?
Orcs,
Tyranids?
Wow.
like everybody has had a shot at this place. Nobody's been able to settle it.
Oh my god.
There are some rumors. You'll find that some of the jungle life there on Catachan are Tyranids that got separated from their high fleet, and then once they do that, they kind of just go standard animal and develop. Most content creators tend to reject this theory outright because they feel that it's an artificial limitation on the amount of fictional life that can exist in the 40K universe. And I actually tend to agree.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to. So I don't mind that the Tyranids and the Gene Stealer cults were connected. They weren't originally.
Oh.
And then they did connect them. And I know a lot of people had problems with that because same thing. They felt like connecting these two factions made it much more limited. I actually enjoy that.
Yeah, I thought it was neat, but
of course, you're always okay. You're always more okay with changes that happen before you get into the hobby,
right. Which is probably why people tend to get so upset when it happens too, because it's like it's not going to be the same for them. The new ones coming in, they're not going to see it the same way. Yeah,
but Catachan has repelled them. It's repelled traitors, the traitors Astartes. It's repelled like everyone. So they don't need a planetary defense force whatsoever.
Right.
But a side effect of growing up on this harsh jungle planet is that the Catachans are expert jungle fighters, as you would imagine. They're actually considered to be probably the best jungle fighters of the Imperium.
Right.
But they're also experts at ambush fighting. Particularly, they specialize in melee combat, booby traps, and mines. Like all the Rambo-style shit you see in the movies. All the punji sticks, which are the sharpened sticks. Sometimes they have fecal matter on them if you want that extra kick.
Yeah.
Right. Camouflaging, killing people with a knife, in the silence, that sort of thing. That's a Catachan's bread and butter. They all wear red bandanas that signify the blood oath that they've taken to serve the Imperium. As a side effect of growing up on a death world, they all are larger and more muscular than an average human, even the females. That's earned them the nickname Baby Algrins.
That's good we had that intro then.
Yeah, it really is. That's worked out.
But
Baby Algrins
you don't
really undersells it.
Yeah, you don't call them that to their face.
I wouldn't.
No.
No.
So basically, like the Catachan Jungle Warriors are all of Dutch's people from Predator.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
That's these people as like a race.
Yeah.
Right. If you see the artwork of some of the female Catachans, like this one here, you're going to notice that it bears a striking resemblance to a picture of Ripley from Aliens, like this one here. And if you put them side by side, like this one here and this one here, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you know, you know.
Yep.
Every time I say here and here, Eric just hangs his head.
He's visibly dying.
Yep. You saw that movement that just happened there? Yep.
That was his soul leaving his body.
Yeah. Yep.
But so the Catachans really are based off of like the 80s action heroes.
Right.
They are really simple on their equipment. They carry the las carbine, which is a shortened version of your standard las rifle. Usually comes with like a folding stock to make it even more compact. It is light firing, so it doesn't take down heavy objects, heavy items, but they usually use mines and booby traps for that shit. All of them come with so the the stats you usually get for their equipment come from like the tabletop figures, and it tells you what each equipment the figure has, and so they use that to kind of extrapolate what they carry on to the standard mission.
That makes sense.
Which is why sometimes you get into like this such specific amount of like 4 packs of charge mines. It's like, why 4? Well, because
that's how many they have in the game.
So you draw that kind of parallel. So they have charge packs, they have shred mines, they have anti-personnel mines, they have all of the hidden devastating things to ambush their prey with. They're most famous for their Catachan jungle knife, which in literally every picture of the Catachans you'll see, they've got that thing in their hands. It's like a 20 centimeter long blade, which actually I think qualifies as a short sword. Actually,
it looks like a short sword. It looks like one.
And they're often envenomed, so that even just a cut is enough to kill.
Wow. Yeah.
Those are highly sought after on the black market and are often faked.
Oh,
because of their high quality and damage capabilities.
That's interesting. Oh man, that's a neat story. Like device just coming across a fake Catachan
on a Hive World market.
Yeah.
They do have Ogrins that do grow up on Catachan, I guess.
Really?
Which is interesting.
That's a terrifying thought.
That's what I thought. I was like, what would that be like?
Yeah.
So,
a Rambo Ogren?
I mean, I guess. I don't know if you could actually tie the bandana on his forehead. It'd probably just freak the fuck out. But
The color red just makes it charge.
Well, like Ogrins are, I believe they're actually higher in strength than a standard Astartes. So
wow,
that's a lot.
Yeah. The trade off is
right.
Pet the rabbit, George.
Holy shit, though, that's incredible. I had no idea they were that strong. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I believe they're equivalent or surpassing a standard Astartes. So, what does a Catachan Jungle Fighter have to deal with?
/ what is their planetary defense?
All right.
It's the grass. We didn't mow it.
Yeah, we didn't mow the grass, and now it's killing Tyranids. It's eating them.
Which is insane, because
you'd
think the Tyranids would be able to handle it.
Yeah, you'd think.
They'd be like, oh yeah, let's adapt to this.
Like, I don't want to live on a planet that the Tyranids can't take over. That sounds awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he doesn't even give them a time.
Right.
All right, so just going down some lists.
Okay.
We have the Brain Leaf.
Ooh.
A carnivorous, and yes, I'm reading, sue me. A carnivorous plant that is actually a small tree, not particularly conspicuous on Catachan, but one that is able to attach its tendrils to the spine and brain of any animal, taking control over their body. This creature may actually... No. See, here we get into this creature may actually be a genetic offshoot of the Tyranid cortex leech. No.
Okay. Rejected.
The
heresy.
The Venus man trap. Self-explanatory, I'm sure.
Right. Yep.
The strangle plant.
Kind of self-explanatory.
That's good.
Yep.
The sucker tree. The sucker tree is a carnivorous plant that is fairly innocuous looking to the untrained eye. It is simply a fungal-like growth on top of a seemingly normal trunk. However, the trunk can twist and turn when it detects prey, bending over to drop its suckers on top of the head of its victims. It quickly drains them of their life fluid and then flings the corpse away to ensure that victims are not made suspicious by the pile of bodies.
Wow.
Nature.
Yeah. Jesus.
And this is just the plants.
Yeah.
So we get into the animals. We have a Catachan devil, which is basically a scorpion and a centipede mixed together. That's the size of a diesel truck.
Oh, I hate all of that. That's a lot of legs and a stinger, and it's big.
I'm itchy now.
Actually, diesel truck. Did I say that? I meant train.
Diesel train, because it's a fucking centipede. So it's train-sized? A train-sized centipede scorpion. Fuck that. What the fuck? How big are the trees there?
Oh,
man.
Like Fern Gully.
Oh.
Although I guess technically Fern Gully was really small. So more like Pandora.
Redwoods?
Pandora. Yeah. What?
Like the Redwood Forest?
Oh, yeah.
Bigger than that.
Bigger than that.
We're talking like Pandora from...
Yeah.
From like the
Blue People one. Yeah.
Yes, the Great Barking Toad.
Oh. Ooh, sounds like a dog toad. I kind of
Yes.
like the sound of that.
So the great barking toad, although appearing to be benign and harmless,
Yeah.
is a literally volatile creature.
Shit.
It is. I want to see if I can find how big it is.
Oh my god. Does it explode?
Does it hypnotize you?
No.
Hypnotoad.
Hypnotoad.
Sorry, guys. Snap
So
out of it.
it's an overly large toad that when startled can explode
Ah, damn it.
at ranging up to 1 kilometer.
Oh my god.
What? Yeah.
Emperor, save me.
And the toxin is considered to be one of, if not the most deadly toxin in the Imperium. So much so that that there's no power armor that will save you. It just it's like the life eater virus.
Oh.
It's so volatile that the Imperium has not actually been able to study it because they've not been able to capture a toad without it exploding.
Without startling it. Oh my gosh, on a planet like that, how are they not going off all the time?
Because absolutely every single thing in the world that hears that little croaking noise just leaves it the fuck alone.
Oh my gosh.
Genetic memory
It
just tells you,
evolved,
no,
yeah.
you need to go this way.
It evolved to just not. It's like, okay, because it barks as a warning, I guess. Or is that what they called it? A barking toad?
The great barking toad.
Great barking toad.
There's heretic ants.
Oh.
What?
Well, they sound like they need to be executed.
Yes.
I smell a heresy.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 bite will put a human into the infirmary for a solar month, and 2 bites will give them about a solar day before they die.
Oh.
And then 3 bites will simply kill you outright.
Oh.
And they're referred to as heretic ants because they directly go after the souls of your feet.
Oh. They go for your soul, just like a heretic does. Look at that.
It's a pun.
I know this line that Ben's skirting with puns is.
No.
Fascinating.
That is literally
I know
literally
that
in
wasn't
here.
through them, but yeah, no, it's just getting closer and closer and closer to you having a pun moment.
Oh,
Yeah, I think.
all right then.
Just-
Next up, vein worms. They secrete an ooze that numbs their prey when they bite so that they can't feel anything. Then they dig their way under the prey's skin and into the bloodstream and lay their eggs. The eggs will spread all around the host body, and then when the larvae hatch, they will eat their way through the host brain, heart, and bones. There is no known cure for this infestation, and once it's entered the victim's bloodstream, they are toast.
There's a cure. You burn yourself alive.
They eat your bones?
Oh my god, that's awful. No, if just burn them, burn those people, those poor people. Oh god.
Then you're on fire and you've got full of worms.
Oh, stop! No,
You're
it's
just having
just
a
everything
bad
gets burned. Burn everything. Burn everything. Just burn it all.
And then we get into like the we're not even now. Then we get into like the list of fungals and diseases that are in there, and
Lord.
some of the diseases you can literally see on the air. They're so
Oh,
Just like fuck you about it.
like pollen.
Oh no,
that would be terrible.
just a yellow cloud that you just see. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's blowing towards
It's
me.
literally just aerosolized disease.
Oh man. So tough people come out of that planet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you get a
Wow.
Catachan Jungle
That's
Warrior.
how you forge one. My lord.
Wow. Even more respect for Sly.
Seriously. Yeah, because he's, top tier among the people that survive that shit on the daily.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's it for the Catachan Jungle
All
Jungle
right.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Simple but brutal.
Yep. Simple but brutal. There you have it. There's our chapter 2 on the Imperial Guard.
Let us know if there's any other specific units or heroes, your
Yeah.
everyday average humans
That
to
you-
cover.
Yeah. That
That's
you want us to cover. 'Cause
That's not Caiaphas Cain.
not Caiaphas Cain.
That's not him. I know people love him. And I know I put him in a quote. Man, that book is rough for me to get through, the first one. People love it. But I
You know how you get him to have us covered, Caiaphas Cain.
pay for it.
I was going to say leave a bunch of comments asking for Caiaphas Cain. There are options
Time
to pay
is
for
money.
it if you do feel so inclined.
Time is money.
Yeah, you can always support the show. Just saying. Is that our cue?
No, yeah, it is. But just to defend myself on this outro, because people really do love this book series.
Yeah.
In the very beginning of the first book, you hear from two separate sons of bitches. You guys didn't see it, but I'm chameleon here, and you both just took a big long drink at the exact same time. And I'm like, just let me defend myself. And I'm like, oh fuck.
All right, we'll take it.
Sips tea.
Yeah.
But you hear the same spiel from two different people about a character you haven't even met yet. They're like, okay, no matter what you read in this book, remember that this character is not a hero. I'm like, okay. I haven't met him yet. And then they bring in another character who at length, for a long time, goes on about how, now I understand the way this is represented, but they are not a hero. And by the time that person started winding down their speech about how this other character is not a hero, I didn't give a shit anymore. I'm like, let me make up my mind on whether or not this character is a hero or a buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
Quit telling me so fucking much what I'm supposed to think about this character before I even get into this book. So it was just a bit much for me. I don't want my mind made up about a character before I meet him. Not like that.
Yeah.
That only works for villains, motherfuckers. And that's to build up like the infamy, right? Like don't tell me a character's a jackass and pretend like that's something that you're going to build up anticipation for. I'm not excited that he's a coward. That doesn't excite me. And I understand before anybody jumps my ass in the comments, I understand what the contradiction with Caiaphas is supposed to be. The contradiction between him is like what he says and what people think of him versus what he actually does.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
The proof is in his actions, not in the rest of it.
Fair.
I need to get to the actions first.
Ah.
I need to stop hearing all of the words and get to the fucking character. I don't care what all of these other characters think about. Let us absorb that through the story. Don't take me out of the you didn't even take me out of the story. I haven't even gotten to the story yet. To insist upon me that I'm supposed to think a thing about a character. Especially when that character is the main character of the book. It's just a weird approach. And I think they thought it was funny. And to me, it was just annoying. But also, guys, I gotta be real with you. 40K is not where I'm going to go for my comedy. I don't really like comedy in my 40K. I don't like it.
Well, boy, but it is.
I like so do not mistake me. Horror movies have funny moments in them.
Sure.
They have to.
Yeah, of course.
I want comedy in 40K. I don't want 40K to be a comedy.
Right.
So I'm fine with there being funny moments in a book, but the book itself being like, this is a comedy book set in the 40K, miss me with that.
Yeah, that's not really the vibe.
It isn't for me. I understand that people can like it.
There are people that do see it as like a dark comedy or a dark satire.
Yeah, and I do like dark comedies.
Yeah.
Like two of my favorite comedies are Suicide Kings and Death to Smoochie. I fucking love Death to Smoochie.
Yeah.
And those are some dark comedies, but it just doesn't... for me, 40K is just not where I want it. It's just like two separate food ingredients that you might like. It's like, I like peanut butter and I like onions. But I don't want to mix my peanut butter and onions.
Yeah.
So, I haven't gone back to it. I tried it twice and I was just like, can I get to the fucking character, please? let me make up my mind. So, Caiaphas Cain. You can request him if you want.
Yeah. I think 100 comments ought to do it, I think.
Yeah. That would be the first time we got to 100 comments ever.
Oh, yeah. It'd be the first time we broke 10, probably.
It is wild to me that you can get a video with 300 views and 5 comments.
Oh, yeah. But that's it's weird how it scales. Yeah. You'll get 300 and it's, like you said, maybe rough, 5 comments and 10 likes or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a strange scale. It's such a small percentage of engagement for what you...
Yeah, and you're like, well, that many people that view it didn't like it. It's like, well, you can see how long they watched it.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily... It's just whether or not they think too, or if they're particularly wowed enough to think to do
But
so.
I
or
also,
whatever.
all of the YouTube guys that I listen to talk about how hard it is to get people to hit the like button.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, they just people.
And
just don't. I never did. before,
I'm certainly guilty of that.
before we actually like got something going on YouTube. I never did. Now I'm like liking everything. It's like I know this helps. Just I'll do my part.
See, I don't do that. I'll like it if I'm like, no, this was a good one.
If it kept me if I didn't click away from it like right away, I'll usually at some point give it a like.
I'm very protective of my algorithm.
Yeah. Oh, and that makes sense
So,
too. You can't be too willy-nilly about it. And that's a good point. I do factor that in.
Oh my fucking god.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So like I watched a short that was a woman that adopted an elderly dog.
Aw.
Really nice, touching video because I like to watch dog videos. I'm a dog person. Anybody who watches this channel with any sort of regularity knows that shit. So I like to watch dog videos. And me and YouTube are gonna have a capital G fight where one of us is not gonna exist anymore because I watched one senior short,
Right.
and now it's serving me up video after video. 10 ways to tell that your dog is nearing the end of its life.
Oh shit. That's rude.
Yeah,
And
it takes that nugget and then runs with it.
Yeah.
And
It's
like
just the most
I'm not
inappropriate way.
like I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about when hard things happen in life. Everybody's got,
Yeah.
but like I don't want to see that shit right fucking now. Thank you very goddamn much.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like there's not a human heart in that algorithm. It's just all based around
But it's like
if you lose that.
what connects these two videos besides the fact that they have senior dogs in them, you idiots?
Yeah.
Nothing. Not a fucking thing. One's
Yeah.
a happy video. The other one's like how to tell that you're getting ready to lose one of the greatest friends you've ever had. Enjoy.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch. Rude.
Fuck you,
YouTube.
algorithm.
Yeah, rude.
And-
Very rude.
And it's been punishing lore channels here recently, I found out.
Oh, no kidding. has it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been down recommending like 40K and other lore channels
No kidding.
I've heard that from-
Interesting.
from two different content creators today, as a matter of fact.
As of the time of recording. So I
So-
guess, if you like us, maybe that is some incentive to subscribe, like not even being like that. Like that is because then we could get buried under it. So if you do want to come back,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have faith. Like the thing is having one of the kind of cheat codes for having, and it doesn't mean that you can slack off, but what it does, but when you have a built-in fandom, like you're covering something like 40K, right?
Right.
Yeah, the algorithm might downplay you for a while, but it's always going to swing back.
Yeah.
Your part has to be on the quality of content to keep people there when it's low swinging,
That's
and to
true.
bring them back when it's high swinging.
Right. I mean, that's a great point. Yeah.
So,
That really is.
so that's the pressure on us.
Yeah.
I think too many content creators get hooked up on whether the algorithm is swinging their direction.
I know. Well, because it's like the stock market or anything else, it's going to ebb and flow. Like
Yeah.
what's in pop culture is going to kind of,
Yeah, but you can't
Yeah.
pretend like the algorithm bases it off that shit. It's
Well,
just
no,
swinging
but
wild.
I'm sure it has. I mean, I'm sure it's more of a ripple effect from it. Like just kind of, whatever people are seeing in pop culture must influence what they're searching for at the time.
Yeah,
And so you'll
but
lean
I
different ways.
do believe they use it to steer people away from stuff that they don't want people to see.
like
even,
more deliberately. I
even-
think you're right.
even
but,
like, and
yeah.
I think that does extend to stuff like 40K. I do think that sometimes YouTube's like, this 40K thing's getting a little out of hand and it's a little too aggressive and we don't like the way it's making us look. So let's go ahead and serve up other things instead of that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? True crime. True crime is the big thumb in the ass. Because
Wow.
it's violent, it's dark as fuck, but it draws in so many views they
Oh,
can't
yeah.
clamp on it.
Yeah.
It's popular as
Oh
all
my
get
God.
out.
It is. Like people use that horrifying shit as like a comfort watch. They could
Oh,
fall
I
asleep
do.
to it.
Oh hell yeah!
Man,
when it starts getting into like October season,
And like I get the
I've already
appeal.
started.
I can't relax to it though. I get the appeal. I get why people can. It's like interesting stuff. It's something to get your mind lost in as you follow it. But I'm just like that. I get too hung up on the like, that's horrible. That's just terrible.
I
What a
fall-
horrible thing to
I'll-
happen to somebody.
Oh,
And
I'll
I
fall
can't
asleep
not
to
stress.
serial killer documentaries,
Oh, yeah, I
Nazi
know.
documentaries.
Yeah, you're eccentric like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll turn on. Like one of my favorite movies to sleep to is Stephen King's It, the OG TV
Oh, yeah.
show.
And I
Oh,
can't even.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
no,
one of the ones that'll drift
I
me
can
off.
barely watch that movie without freaking out.
I love that movie. Now I'm gonna out some of Bailey's dirty laundry while she's taking a nap. she loves The Descent. That is a movie she'll nap to, and I listen. You heard my list. That movie, caramba.
Yeah.
There is some screaming in that movie that I just cannot.
It's horrible. Yeah. No.
Nope.
It's the one where they go down in the cave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meet the
That's
little
a-
mutated humans.
Yeah, it's an
yeah.
all-female cast.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a fantastic horror movie.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
That movie is brutal. It is scary. Most of the motivation makes sense, although they don't have to. Human beings' motivations don't always make sense.
Right. Yeah. And it's a good argument for like why the Imperium puts down mutants.
I was
mutations.
just
Yeah.
getting ready to say
Were you
we're
really?
gonna have to
That's
find
great.
our way back to 40K, but
Ah.
Eric was one step ahead of
I
me.
got
As
the bridge, baby.
Oh, yeah.
usual, Eric is the one to bring us back.
So
So Eric, go ahead and take us out of here because there's probably 5 people still listening, and we
Yeah.
want to go ahead and cut them loose.
right. So we'll go ahead and do
real
that.
quick, real quick. I want you guys to appreciate that we do our plugs at the end
Oh, for real. Yeah, we could shove that shit in the front
and make you listen to
yeah,
it.
just force you to, but like
We don't.
Yeah, no, we don't. So thank you guys.
We hurt ourselves
Yeah,
for
you.
your
Yeah.
comfort.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening, especially you, Silas. I was told to inform you that Morgan is always right. So thanks for listening, sir. A friend of mine.
Oh, I was like,
Sorry.
what did you just sign us up for?
I just snuck a quick shout out in there.
We got involved in something.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just know
we
he's
did.
probably still listening. So
Oh my
cool.
God.
And I thought of him.
Let
so-
us know if you're
yeah.
divorced now.
No. And for the rest of you four, you can catch other Cult Talk Net shows like Cult Talks Conspiracy, where Ty and Bailey talk about UFOs and actually probably true crime stuff and conspiracy theories in general, as well as cryptids and things like that. So it's really neat. Each episode does a deep dive on a particular subject. So
We're gonna have to do a true crime episode just for shits and giggles,
I'm sure there's a
just
a good idea.
just for the hell of it.
right. That's a good idea.
That would be
I like
funny.
it.
We'll do it in October.
Okay.
That would
okay.
make,
all
that way
right.
it's at least themey.
Yeah, themey. You can also check out our Cult of Campbell, which is a show that examines movies featuring Bruce Campbell and rating his performance in the movie as groovy or not groovy. It's a lot of fun.
Explain that.
Yeah, explain the groovy system. So it's not always good movies that get the groovy rating, right? It's based on the quality of Campbell in there. So we have given bad movies a groovy rating and great movies not groovy ratings. So
I have found a way to make peace with that, by the way.
oh, have you? 'Cause
Yes.
you hate that.
I do hate that.
Okay.
It's better than Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. You're right.
It's more reliable
right.
than Rotten Tomatoes.
More reliable than Rotten Tomatoes. You heard it here from Ben.
Yep.
So check out Cult of Campbell if you like. That sort of thing. Cult of Russell, there's a bit of a calling in it through the cult, so look for that. We're going to be doing the same thing with Kurt Russell movies.
Yeah, I'm trying hard to get
Yeah.
that off the ground,
Yeah.
but I need help.
Yeah, help him out. Help him out. Leave comments.
I
we
want to
have a
do
cult for that.
Escape from New York first.
Escape from New York. There
Yes.
you go. So if you want us to cover that movie, leave something saying so. We'll appeal to Ty. Ty's the one that's hard to pin down these days, I think. We'll blame it on him.
Yep.
Um,
He's not here to defend himself.
no, he's not. We also have the short mini series, I guess is the word for it. American Pie Slices, where it's a 6-episode series talking about one movie, American Pie. So if there's any nostalgia appeal to that, there's a lot to talk about, as well as some neat like cider drink recommendations from Ty and Michael. They drink while they record, so that's fun.
We should
You
all
know.
be so lucky.
Oh yeah, right. Maybe we should do that. Mead or something.
Yod Nog.
Yod Nog. There we
Weed.
go. There we go. We never do that. Cool. Merch store. Comment. Subscribe. Thank you guys for listening. All that stuff. Appreciate you hanging on this long if you're still here. That's all I got, Ben.
All right. And until next time, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And you know what Campbell would say if he was a Catachan warrior?
What?
This is my poop stick.
Because they put poop on it.
Stab motion.